Dear students, today we are going to study another interesting poem prescribed in your syllabus. A Tiger in the Zoo, written by George Leslie Norris. So let's talk about the poet first of all. He was a prize winning Welsh poet and short story writer. He is considered as most important Welsh writers of the post-war period and his literary works have won many prizes. His famous works are Finding Gold, The Loud Window, Phoenix Living Poets series, Ransoms, etc. Now, let's quickly talk about the poem. Let's understand what is the poem all about. It has the theme of a striped world, human control and restraint of wild creatures, conflict and violence, artificially controlled aggression, hidden true capabilities and diverse interpretations. If we talk about the theme of the poem contrasts a tiger in the zoo with the tiger in its natural habitat. The poem moves from the zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. The poet wants to depict the difference between the two environments. Isn't it interesting? Now, let's read the text. He walks in his vivid stripes, the few steps of his cage, on paths of velvet quiet, in his quiet rage. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. But he's locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Wow, the poem has been written beautifully by the poet. So now let's understand the idea behind the poem. What actually the poet wants to convey through this poem. So the poem begins with a description of a tiger that is very beautiful and is walking in his little cage. He has beautiful stripes on his skin and has velvet like soft paws. But the tiger is not happy and is quite angry about being confined in the cage. The poet says that if the tiger was not confined to the zoo cage, he would have been hiding himself behind the long grass near some water body in order to catch its prey, that is the deer. Also, he would have terrorized the residents of the villages around the forest area. But the reality is totally opposite to this. He was confined in a cage which was made up of strong building material and he was helpless there. He could not show his power to the visitors, therefore, never tried to terrorize them. The tiger is described as being powerless and agonized by the poet. He says that during night he is alone, hearing the voice of the patrolling vehicles of police and looking at the stars. The cage life has totally changed the tiger's personality. The poet is trying to say that the animal which is famous for its fearlessness and freedom is confined and sad due to the human beings who want to derive pleasure by looking at him in the zoo cage. So, in short, you can say that his freedom is curtailed. So, just think, dear children, what if the same happens with us? So, this poem makes us think, and definitely, number of questions come to our mind. So, I'm sure you all have understood the idea contained in the poem.